Good afternoon and welcome to episode 79, I believe, of Red True Diaries. And it's been a couple of weeks since I last filmed because so much has been going on, primarily with school, but also with my personal life. And school is a top priority, as I've said. So this will be sacrificed, and that's why these aren't regular anymore. But I will do my best to still do one, even if it's only 5 minutes in a week. So for this episode, with it being mid-October, today's October 17th, I wanted to highlight the red leaves in the trees, like the one behind me. See? And it just takes a lot of coordination on my end to find a place where I can record openly and to talk about, openly and freely to talk about matters that are more of a provocative nature. And even though I've passed many trees while driving that, are so vibrant, I didn't really have the time or space to stop and record. So here I am finally making the time, and it's also, a precarious time. The trees are only this color for about 2 weeks. And the coolest and funniest thing about them turning this color is they're dying. Essentially, why we see so many colors, in case you don't know, is because the chlorophyll is leaving the leaves, and that's what gives them the shade of green that they are. And so as the leaf dies and the chlorophyll leaves, you see the different other colors, like I think it's beta carotenes, that show through: the reds, the oranges, the yellows, until finally they turn brown, and as we see over the ground, then fall off. Like as a supernova, how beautiful and all the bright colors it goes through, that's a dying star before it dies. And essentially, that's how I feel. That's how it's a metaphor for human lives too. I feel that with age, hopefully, with maturity, we do get better, and we become more vibrant, more colorful, and live a certain beauty and brightness in life. As we die, it's the inevitable. And in that, oddly enough, I'm smiling because I think that is so sexy and so amazing. And life is just incredible. I have a very unique standpoint, which is why I bother to make these videos, to give an alternative to the normal way that many people can think of such things. So, with that being said, my next episode, I will get into the Native American interpretation of this time of year, which will soon, in about 4 or 5 days, somewhere around there. I think the October 22nd will transition into the Scorpio time of year, and I want to say, I think that's the frost time, the first frosts appear, but I'll save that for the next one. For this one, what I want to focus on is honoring and appreciating what is that precipice, that fine line between holding on and letting go. It isn't easy. I get it. It's not easy for me either, but the efforts are worth all that we put into it, and we do, more often than not, get back what we give, even if we don't, see it that way at the time. So, wow, normally I've gone a lot further over than I mean to, and I see I haven't even reached 5 minutes with this episode, but I'm going to cut it short because I do need to get back to work, and I actually think in some ways sometimes short and sweet is ideal. One last thing I'll say is that because I talk about in terms of talking about things that are a little unusual, the other day, the other day I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, oh, I feel so sexy. She was like, why? And I felt sexy at the time because, and I still do actually, just challenges and overcoming certain hurdles, the self-discipline and the will, the strength of will that it develops in character, there's nothing like it. It's, to me, one of the most invigorating and inspiring feelings. And it was this woman that I met in chemistry class last year. we were texting and she asked something and I said, I just feel so sexy because she's like, why? And I said, because I just finished a psychology assignment and it's not due until Monday, and the teacher ended up pushing it back till Wednesday, but this was Thursday night. And I knew that was an ideal time to do it, and I knew it would allow me to focus on other things and like other subjects that I have, and just looking out for myself, doing that because I knew that that would set me up for something, you know, for success, for something better, for less stress, and let's say less anxiety, or it just doing something that I knew would be beneficial. Although it was, and the best part was that I didn't really feel like doing it. And I thought of an episode that I did record a couple months ago, how I didn't really feel like cleaning my place, and how even though I really didn't feel like doing it, I did it because it was important to me, and there was no one else to do it either, though I could have hired someone, but that wasn't really an option. Just like doing my work, it was for me to do, and I had a plan to go ahead and do it. Doesn't matter if I don't feel like it, just go ahead, do it. And after, it was like, fuck yeah, that felt awesome. I'm so glad that I did do it, set myself up. It's almost like how I hear, like when I felt that way when I've worked out. Say, you know, these days exercise is just a part of like my normal way of living. I'm a pretty active person, but those who have their set, you know, exercise regime, like when I used to work at a gym, I see people come in, and even though they wouldn't necessarily feel like being there, when they left, almost everybody felt good. And that was an amazing work environment to be in too. So be in a place where people weren't forced to come in and do something good for themselves. They were just doing it, and generally they saw it as something positive for themselves. And seeing them, you know, have that strength of will and make themselves do something they didn't necessarily feel like doing but knew that was good for them, it's one of the sexiest feelings that I personally feel and find very sexy in others. So may you explore for yourself some of these things, or not. Either way, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for watching and listening.